In the spring and summer of 636, the fields and ravines of Syria became the stage for a contest that would reshape the Near East. An expanding Muslim army, fresh from the capture of Damascus, now faced a massive imperial counterstroke from Byzantium. Emperor Heraclius dispatched a coalition force led by Vahan and Theodore Tritherius, reinforced by frontier troops, Christian Arab light cavalry under Jabala ibn al-Ayham, and Armenian auxiliaries under Georgius. Most accounts suggest the Byzantines enjoyed at least some numerical advantage. Against this stood Khalid, central strategist of the Muslim campaigns in Syria. His problem was stark. How could a smaller, more lightly resourced force survive, let alone win, against a professionally led imperial coalition? Khalid's answer began with maneuver. Rather than risk encirclement at Damascus, he withdrew to Jabia, the old Ghassanid capital in the Golan. It looked like retreat, but it was a calculated repositioning. Jabia carried political resonance for the Christian Arab allies of Byzantium and sat astride key routes. When the Byzantine army encamped along the Ruqad to the west, Khalid realized that the decisive ground would not be Damascus itself, but the plateau and ravines to the south. He pulled back again, choosing the high ground north of the Yarmouk, where the Ruqad joins it. Hills, water, and crossroads linking Damascus, the Galilee, and Ghassanid pastures. For over a month, Muslim forces held a defensive line between Adriat and their camp near Deir Ayyub. A skirmish outside Jabia on 23 July 636 went in their favor, showing that morale and tactical handling lay with Khalid, even if the wider strategic picture remained dangerous. Inside the Byzantine host, complexity bred friction. Vahan, Theodore, Christian Arab allies, and Armenian auxiliaries did not always share priorities, and some Christian Arab and Armenian contingents reportedly deserted or defected. Whatever the exact scale, cohesion in the coalition weakened just as Khalid's army, united under a single command and shared purpose, held firm. The Byzantine force remained formidable, but its internal fractures were beginning to matter. On the plateau above the Yarmouk, Khalid built a defense to absorb and redirect Byzantine power. He split his cavalry into two strong groups behind the right and left infantry wings, guarding against envelopment by heavy cavalry. An elite squadron of 200 to 300 horsemen waited behind the center as a mobile reserve, while archers remained in the camp near Deir Ayyub, positioned to strike attackers at their most exposed. When the Byzantines advanced, they hit hard at the Muslim right and left. The pressure was intense, but the line did not break. Instead, the front gradually fell back, or as some Christian sources insist, feigned retreat. Believing they were exploiting a collapse, Byzantine forces pursued into the Muslim camp. There they met not panic, but preparation. Khalid's camel herds had been hobbled in rings, forming living barricades that broke cavalry momentum and funneled riders into narrow killing zones. From behind these perimeters, Muslim infantry fought from cover while archers poured arrows into the stalled mass. The Byzantine left became exposed, and gaps opened between their infantry and cavalry, precisely the vulnerabilities Khalid had anticipated. He unleashed his cavalry against the open flank, driving a wedge between horse and foot. Muslim riders enveloped the Byzantine heavy cavalry from both sides, turning the empire's elite arm into an encircled liability. Yet Khalid deliberately left a narrow escape northward, away from their infantry. Many cavalry took that path, pulling further from their own foot soldiers. According to the chronicler Theophanes, the Byzantine infantry under Vahan then mutinied, perhaps enraged by Theodore's failure to stabilize the cavalry fight. The infantry line dissolved into rout. The fleeing cavalry withdrew toward the ground between the Rokkad and Alan tributaries. Khalid sent a pursuing force to harass them and deny any orderly regrouping, then moved to close the trap. In a nighttime operation, he seized the bridge over the Rokkad, the only practical escape route for the remaining Byzantine troops. By dawn, the survivors were hemmed in between ravines and a relentless pursuer. On 20th August, Muslim forces assaulted the Byzantine camps. Some traditions describe a massacre of a cornered army. Others emphasize panic spreading through already shaken ranks. Either way, as soldiers tried to flee westward, they were funneled into the ravines near the Yarmouk, where thousands perished. With that catastrophe, the last effective Byzantine army in Syria was destroyed. The battlefield fell quiet, with the Muslim army intact and victorious, and the imperial presence in the region irreparably weakened. In the aftermath, earlier Muslim gains in Palestine and Transjordan were secured. The road opened for Abu Ubaidah to recapture Damascus later that year, and for further advances into the Bekaa Valley and northern Syria. Historians such as Jandora and Gill credit this outcome to Muslim cohesion and Khalid's leadership, organizational skill, and maneuvering, set against Byzantine discord and conventional tactics that he anticipated. The Battle of Yarmouk thus stands among the most important battles of world history, a case study in how leadership, unity, and mastery of terrain can turn precarious odds into a decisive, history-shaping victory.